So, no, this is a good topic, and this is something that needs to be explored. You know, we should take this as a separate one. So let's keep talking about it. Chris, you made a valid point, and Eloy kind of really drove it home, kind of threw our philosophy back at us. Now, the question posed, ladies and gentlemen tuning into our broadcast, is do you maintain friendships with your exes on Facebook? Chris and I had a bit of a dispute. Chris, take it.
No, I think from a karmic perspective, you absolutely don't. Because it really depends what your personality type is, but if I broke up with someone, like, I don't want to see, like, their new life in real time, and all the things they're doing, and all the dates they're taking their new partner on. You know, I don't think that's a healthy thing for me to be exposed to. Maybe after a year, but, you know, I have clean relationships with all of my exes. I'm on good terms with all of them. You know, if I wanted to call any of them for coffee to say hello, how are you doing? Glad you're doing so great in your life. I could do that. Do I actively choose to hang out with them on a daily basis? No, because I think that would interrupt whatever I have going on in my life now. And I think it's a respect thing, single or not. I think if you're 100% entirely single, it's easier to get away with that. But if you're not, then I disagree. And I also think, you know, from a girl's perspective, it just looks bad. Girls will make judgments on the people that you have dated before. And, if they feel like there's too much of a discrepancy between yourself and them, it could really prohibit things from going further. And you may think, oh, that sounds terrible, but you don't really know someone from a hole in the wall when you're making your first judgment or first impression on them. It's not like you know how great they are yet. You haven't even been out with them once.
Well, can I say something?
Please, yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like with Darren's situation, though. The fact that the way he broke it off, he made this blog, he went really public, and it speaks volumes for his personality. Isn't it possible that, you know, having good relationships and friendships with your exes simply means that you're not, you know, the kind of bitter relationship person where if it doesn't work, you know, you tell them to, you know, excuse the language, fuck off. Or you can also say about your personality that you tend to date people you care about, that they're friends before you date them. So once the relationship doesn't work, you keep them around. It would be strange to see them friends with their old relationships and, I don't know, assume that they have a hard time disconnecting and not consider the emotion that they had, why they're still friends with them.
I think it's about not considering the emotions of the new person that you're dating.
Yeah.
Like, I would not actively choose to date someone that is best friends with their exes. Like, someone else can do that. That's not for me, and I know that. It doesn't make me feel special or loved or adored whatsoever.
Well, you know, I want to learn more about that. Eloy also brought up that whole thing about in real life. Is there a compromise? Do you just put them into a hidden status to spy? No, Chris, I think you touched on something really sensitive there, that you don't want to take back to that. I think there's some way we can compare that to digital and find a way this can help people understand.
How so? Ask me.
Well, I'm just thinking, when you look at real life situations and you look at how people treat each other during that course, you mentioned that you'd feel really hurt if somebody didn't completely give themselves to you digitally and personally, saying, yeah, I don't have this ex in my life. I'm here for you, and I commit to you, and I'm here.
I love that phrase. Give themselves to you digitally.
Yeah,
that's a really
trademark that. Yeah.
It's so true, right?
It's keeping your exes as friends take away from your new relationship's energy. You know, especially it's kind of strange to believe that a person needs to. I don't understand the energy allotment equation here, where if you have your old female friends around or male friends, that for some reason your new romance isn't going to be as powerful. It's not like if you get a new girlfriend, you're going to, talk to her, but then talk to your exes more often. But keeping your exes in your life for whatever reason isn't exactly unhealthy.
One or the other. It's we're going both ways here. Chris is saying clearly she just doesn't think it's right. If there's some kind of ex remnant, it means that the heart isn't 100% committed to this thing. Eloy's saying there's other levels to a relationship, and it's okay to have an ex.
Listen, and this is the thing, Eloy. I think in some respects, I probably might agree with you if it was before a digital age, right? So if you get to know someone, and you think they're great, you fall in love with them, you have this amazing relationship, then 5 months in, you realize, like, they are still friends with their ex, and their ex has moved on, and it can be one happy, like, joyous, like, family affair, but that takes 5 months of, like, really getting to know that person without the ex in their life while you're trying to get to know them. And I think that's my point. I think social media adds another layer to this that didn't ever exist before, where it's like, before you get to know me, know who I dated. That's crazy.
It is crazy because you know that there's still that thing going on. There could even, wow, this creates a whole bunch
Well, what if someone had a major life change? What if someone, people talk about types. What if someone completely shifted their types, and there's no new pictures of their new types, there's only pictures of their old types, and you see that type, kind of like what Sandra Bullock is going through with that guy that she's, getting a divorce with right now, that had that affair with that girl that is the complete opposite of Sandra Bullock. Tattooed up, very sort of gothic punk rock, like very different than Sandra Bullock. So what if that, you know what I mean? What if there were pictures of that type versus Sandra Bullock? You would never know that his new type would be Sandra Bullock or the other one now with the affair. But do you know what I'm saying? How social media can be deceiving?
Is it deceiving, or does it just give you more insight into their perspective?
I think it's both. I mean, you don't want to jump to conclusions with it. It sounds like it's very possible. We have so much information and so much transparency that you could easily, walk away from something that would have worked based on your own assumptions going through a photo gallery. We're not trained psychologists. We can't make, these grand calls about a person's personality because of the person's, the way they stand with someone in one picture.
I agree with what you're saying. First of all, I am a sociology minor.
When you didn't know about the person you were getting in a relationship with, and it was all a mystery, now that you know more, you're more likely to find the, negative? Oh, he's friends with his ex, so that's a red flag. I don't know.
No, I don't think that's what the red flag is. I think being friends with an ex is not the red flag. You're mistaking what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think if after you have said, this makes me feel uncomfortable, and that person still does not listen to you, they are disrespecting you, and don't really care about how you feel. That is what the issue is here. You know what I mean? Like, if you're the type of girl who sees that someone has friends, 1,000 pictures with their ex, and they're okay with it, fine, that's great. But if you're not, and the guy's still like, well, I don't really care what you think, and I'm going to friend new ones too, that's really disrespectful. I'm sorry. Like, my dad was never doing that to my mom, probably because social media didn't exist back then. But it's just, if you ask people from an older generation, like, they think this is crazy.
But it does go different ways, too. I've seen people who have had many stresses in their marriages or their dating relationships because of those ex-relationships.
50% of marriages end in divorce, according to a new study, because of Facebook.
Because of Facebook.
It's really, you know why?
Facebook, bad.
But I think
no, I think Facebook can be good. I had a really interesting call.
It's so easy to stay connected that it's like, why break off the relationships? Why tell that person not to talk to me? They have my IM, my Facebook, my email. We're all over the place together.
Well,
if you look at any dating coach today, they would all tell you that you need to take a 60-day cleanse away from an ex. If after 60 days you want to do that and reestablish contact, fine. I think for myself personally, I can't remember, December, January, February, March. I would take a 7-month break from talking any contact, anything at all.
I think what Eloy's pointing out, too, and Eloy, am I wrong here to interpret that it also means you're saying you wouldn't go and put a brick wall around yourself when you walk down the street? Why cut off Facebook or anything as a communication channel? Is that what I'm hearing?
Maybe what
exactly. It's so easy to communicate now that to break up the communication, you have to pull off this internet, surgery. You have to slice everything up and cut them out of your life and ignore them. We're connected so closely nowadays. That's why people stay friends with exes more often.
That's a good point.
Maybe we're hitting on a difference between males and females. I'd love to get another female in on this call.
We need another female. Here's the deal, though. We got to cut to our next video here. This is Darren Williger.
Chris Ruby.
Yes,
We'll be right back.